You've been listening to the wonderful sounds of the Castle Hill RSL Youth Wind Ensemble under the conductorship of Mr. We've got it wrong. Mr. James Bryce, ladies and gentlemen. What a great start we're having. Okay, just a couple of housekeeping rules. Don't forget to turn off those pesky mobile phones. Also, keep your conference program handy so you can check what's happening next. Don't forget to make sure you know where the breakout sessions are and which one you're going to. And of course, those who are delegate voting, get those votes back to the right place in plenty of time for this afternoon. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the housekeeping for right now. We are now set and ready to go.
As the Mayor of the City of Willoughby, it gives me great pleasure to welcome all of my fellow Rotarians to the City of Willoughby who have come from District 9685, a district of which I've had a lot to do with over many years, being a past president and very much appreciative of being a Paul Harris Fellow. We hope that you're going to enjoy your time here in the City of Willoughby at our wonderful concourse. There will be many things that you'll be able to enjoy in and out of conference time. The most important thing is the message of Rotary, and that's one of the things that when you have a conference, it is a highlight of the great work that Rotary does. Rotary has a very long and esteemed history, and particularly here with the host club on this occasion, namely Chatswood, and the number of activities that they have been engaged in over many years, the provision of community help that they've put forward, and let alone towards Rotary International projects. Rotary's been strong in this area, and it's only right that with the venue we have at the Concourse, that we celebrate yet again another conference, but a conference which again forges through the work and the realisation of the need for Rotary. Again, I wish you all the very best. Look forward to meeting you all and looking forward to you having not only good conference deliberations, but also having a wonderful time and camaraderie with your fellows. Thank you very much.
We are indeed grateful for Pat's words of encouragement and good wishes. Through his enthusiasm and drive, the conference is here at the beautiful Concourse in Chatswood. It is sad to note, however, that Pat was lost to us and the community he served just a few weeks ago. Thank you, Pat. We will remember you. Rotarians and guests of the Rotary clubs from the mountains to the sea. Come alive at the first conference of Rotary International, District 9685. We bid you welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rotarians one and all, please welcome to the stage District Governor 9685, Graham Davies, and his partner, Rotarian Lynn Davies.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a stirring fanfare and parade of flags. Welcome to our Rotary Come Alive in 9685 District Conference. I wish to acknowledge the Guringai people on whose ancestral land we meet today. I pay respect to their elders, past and present, and extend the hand of friendship to all Aboriginal people here today. Please stand for the National Anthem to be performed by Carolyn Reid and her singers.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free.
With golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts, of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every state advance Australia fair. In joyful strains and let us sing, advance Australia fair.
Rotarians and friends, whether you travel from the mountains or the sea or somewhere in between or indeed across the sea, welcome to our conference. It's Conference 2 for District 9685, our very first, and also to celebrate Rotary's 109th birthday. It is my great pleasure to welcome from the Rotary Club of Invercargill North in District 9980 New Zealand, the Rotary International President's personal representative, past District Governor Trish Boyle, Simon and their daughter Louise. In each Rotary district, there are a group of Rotarians who have been afforded the privilege of serving as District Governor. We are pleased to extend a warm welcome to our past District Governors and spouses, and especially Elaine Turnage, wife of the late past District Governor Graham Turnage. 12 months ago, we established a tradition in District 9685 that we both welcome and show our appreciation of our governors by using deaf sign language. Now, the secret of this is if you want to applaud louder, you go faster. So if I go like that, it means lift the roof with your applause for our District Governors. Would District Governors please stand, and the spouses turn, if you can, face the audience so you can see the welcome from our District 9685 Rotarians. Yes! We had a slight mix there between signing and audio, but that's great, that's great. I wish to recognise all members of the Host Organising Committee of the 2004 Rotary International Convention. The Regional Rotary Public Image Coordinator, Philip Archer, the Assistant Rotary Coordinator, past District Governor Keith Roffey and Margaret, and all District 9685 Rotarians who are serving in positions beyond the district. Thank you for the work that you do. I also acknowledge our Assistant Governors, the District team and the Presidents of all clubs for the work that you do as well in support of Rotarians throughout the district. To Rotaractors and the Rotary Youth Exchange students who you saw before. Yeah. That's wonderful to hear. Yes. To those who are attending the conference for the very first time, how many? First time? Look, welcome. That is just fantastic. And how many Rotarians are here as guests of Rotarians? I know Auntie Olive is, and I know daughter Bronwyn is. How many are guests here? Non-Rotarian guests. It's wonderful to see you as well. I trust that you'll continue to join us in future years at these conferences. Now, does anyone have a birthday today? Personal birthday? Your name's... Well, that's just wonderful. Any others? Up the top? I can't see up the top. But look, welcome if you're sharing a birthday, because of course you're sharing the birthday with... Oh, Bill! You're sharing a birthday with Rotary, the 109th birthday with Rotary. So welcome everyone. We trust that you both enjoy the day and are inspired by what Rotary does throughout the world. A little later we'll be joined by District Governor Gary Brown from District 9675. Bob Aitken, past District Governor Bob Aitken, District Governor-elect Ian, District Governor nominee Gina, A.G. Bouvan and President Tess Hall from the Rotary Club of Penrith. And that group of people are all at the moment climbing the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And the reason for that is they're making a promotional video of the bridge climb to be released worldwide in support of Rotary's attempt to break a world record. Now, the world record is for the greatest number of people climbing the bridge from the one event. Of course, the one event will be the Rotary International Convention in June. So if you get that opportunity to go and climb the bridge, as part of that, you set a world record. But not only that, the bridge climb people are donating $50 per climber to end polio now. So it's just a wonderful, wonderful activity attached to the International Convention. In this address, I'll give a review of some of the district's highlights since its formation in July 2013. I'll then briefly outline an approach by which we can have a conversation about different ways of thinking about some aspects of Rotary, including the family of Rotary. I encourage Rotarians to engage in this discussion over the next several months. But first, a little about today's conference. Chairman Noel and his conference committee, with the support of the combined clubs of Chatswood, Chatswood Sunrise, Chatswood International, Roseville Chase and Lane Cove, have, I believe, put together a most innovative conference package. I commend the booklets in your satchels and thank Catherine Dodd for her role in their production. We wanted to make the conference affordable, to build in flexibility and to give Rotarians a voice. Thus the breakout sessions. If you can, it would be advantageous for clubs to be represented in each of those breakout sessions. Please visit our stall holders in the showcase during the breaks, and particularly make a point of calling in to have a chat to our commercial sponsors, Subaru and Ord Minnett. We have had amazing support from Willoughby City Council, Chatswood RSL and Telstra in putting this conference together. Now, Kamal has kindly given a number of his CDs for sale, and the proceeds of that will go to End Polio Now. Those CDs can be purchased at the registration desk. And as you've already seen, we've had the support of many local groups and individuals throughout and they've all donated their time quite willingly, so we thank them all. Keynote speakers today will receive a special gift as a memento of their time with us, and this will be presented off stage. And I mention that just so you know they are going to get a gift. We haven't overlooked it. But the gift is important. It's a copy of a book called Fire in the Belly. And it's a book by our own Don Stein. It's a great read, and it's Don's story. If you'd like a copy of the book, you can purchase that too in the Rotary Showcase, but you don't actually purchase it. Don will give it to you free, and what you have to do is please give a donation to the Salvation Army or to End Polio. You may have noticed that there are cameramen here today in the middle of the auditorium, and the conference proceedings are being recorded, and there'll be a highlights package produced. So I thank Bobby Holder and Rod Holman for donating their services. Thank you very much. And now the really exciting part, because all this is being streamed live throughout Australia and the world. So there's a link on the screen, or there will be shortly, and if you'd like, you can send that to a friend just so they know how to do it. Just make sure your phone stays on silent whilst you're doing that. So let's make some cheerio calls, simply because I can. To our great friends, past President Curry and Marilena Aris from Finland, hello. A very early good morning to Governor Hank and Irwin in Western Australia, Governor Barbara in South Australia, Governor Bruce in Tasmania, and indeed all the first-class governors throughout Australia and New Zealand. Welcome to our conference. And on behalf of Zone A governors, I extend a very special cheerio to Governor Trevor Taylor and Robin. They are both an inspiration to all governors. So we're delighted that you can join us today. The establishment of District 9685 was the result of redistricting. I thank all the District 9685 Formation Steering Committee for their thorough attention to detail. As co-host district for the International Convention, 2013-14 was always going to be an amazing year for us. Our goal was to ensure that every Rotarian who wanted to could have the opportunity to attend that convention. And this thinking very much influenced the design of this conference. Now, currently, there are more paid registered Rotarians from District 9685 attending the International Convention than there are at this conference. But not only that, District 9685 has the greatest number of paid registered Rotarians in the world. So well done. And the good news is that until the 31st of March, you can still register for a discounted fee. A priority in the district was to develop an inclusive culture, both within the district and within clubs. And this perhaps is still a work in progress, but Lynn and I regularly witness innovative and relevant projects and well-run and inspiring meetings wherever we travel. Of particular note is the increase in the number of clubs that are combining for all sorts of purposes. They're combining together. One of those purposes is to create bigger, better, bolder projects, and it's a great thing to see. 2013-14 was the introduction of the Rotary Foundation new grants model. And thanks to Tony Castley and his team, we have a record number of applications for district grants, which means that more clubs than ever are involved in the work of the foundation. We have also very high impact grants in varying degrees of development, but that's going to be quite an amazing outcome. Year to date in District 9685 has the highest level of giving of all districts in Australia. The highest level. However, we don't have the highest per capita. So we've got work to do. Other aspects of the year so far, as the official club visits were on a zone basis, and that I think has resulted in increased cooperation amongst clubs. The Meet the Mayor program was well received. We will complete 7 Rotary Leadership Institute courses in 2013-14, and we continue to be the highest giving district in support of the Australian Rotary Health. So please check Lynn's Australian Rotary Health PhD Hearing Scholarship proposal. Rotarians of District 9685, you are exceedingly generous and deserve a collective pat on the back. October 2013 was a defining moment for our district with the fires in the Blue Mountains, with the destruction of 200 homes. I'm in awe of the response by the district and indeed Rotarians throughout Australia. There are a huge number of people involved, but I'm sure that everyone would want me to say President Laurie Waterson, the Rotary Club of Springwood, and indeed all Rotarians on the Blue Mountains, we are extremely proud of what you have done. Thank you. So a great deal has been done, but there is more to do. Remember the ball? Well, we haven't forgotten. This initiative and 2,500 trees proved to be a little bit more difficult than we would anticipated. But I know some clubs are also experiencing difficulty with the 1,000 photographs. But the good thing about that is that Bill Forsyth, our district photographer, is there to help. All he needs is an invitation to do so. Now, the major task ahead, though, is highlighted by the following fact. On the 1st of July 2013, we started with 2,140 members in District 9685. Today, the official RI number is 2,136. We're going backwards. But I don't believe that is a reason to panic. But we must take sensible action. See, Central Blue has had an increase of 7 members year to date. So it can be done, can't it, Jennifer? Yes. We have an excellent regional membership plan, which is to increase by 3% each year for the next 3 years, the number of members. And if we gain 1 member per club per year, we achieve that target. So it's not asking too much. Imagine what would happen, though, if that 1 member per club per year, 50% of those were women. What a difference that would make. But to do that, we need to rethink some aspects of Rotary. We need to focus on the core values of Rotary to guide change as we make decisions thinking to the future. Now that involves a clear focus on the importance of what we do in the world. The late John Carrick said, "Of one fact there is no doubt. We will never run out of customers." And indeed we won't. But to borrow a concept from Gary Brown's conference, there needs to be a shift in our thinking about membership. The first shift is to focus on members rather than membership. We do that by taking time to listen to each other, understand and accommodate members' needs, to ensure all members have meaningful roles, and to leave our egos at the door. Yesterday, I was speaking to a past district governor from Romania, and they said, "Gee, that'll be very crowded outside the door." In short, we need to respect each other as Rotarians. If we do that alone, we'll have gone a long way to locking the back gate. At the moment, too many clubs leave the gate wide open. There have been 800 Rotarians walk through that back gate in District 9685 alone in the last 10 years. The second shift is to interpret our goal slightly differently. We interpret our goal to grow Rotary rather than just invite new members. If we do this, all sorts of capacity building opportunities open. The first step is to invest in existing members. So we have more knowledgeable, more motivated, more involved, more engaged members who will take the lead into the future. President Ron Burton's theme is really a goal: engage Rotary, change lives. So the second step is to think more broadly about the family of Rotary. Our family is significantly larger than the 1.2 million Rotarians around the world. But like all families, we need to keep in touch with each other. We need to know what each other's doing. We need to visit each other occasionally. We need to have family reunions. Clubs could well think about having a group of people within their club who manage that process. Not in a high-powered selling pitch way, but simply in a sharing manner. But what about younger Rotarians, aged in their 20s and 30s? To really grow Rotary into the future, we need to have this age group as part of the family. Well, there are already members in that age group in leadership positions in our clubs in our district. it should come as no surprise with that group that the clubs that they belong to happen to look after their members. They happen to make sure that they accommodate and adjust to meeting the needs of their members. And we're planning a district symposium for the younger Rotarian. Let's listen to a younger member of the Rotary family. David Postick is a member of the Rotary Club of Norman, Oklahoma, USA. Some of you may know of that club. He says, if you make a habit to continually evolve as a club, you will continue to engage young people and flourish. And when clubs flourish, Rotary flourishes. He asks a very interesting question. He wants to know why he has never heard someone say, do you know that through Rotary we can change the world? Through Rotary we can change the world. He's never heard people say that. We want to attract busy, successful, motivated people who care. Well, David Postick claims there are millions of young people like him who do care and want to change the world through Rotary. Is your club ready to engage with David's friends? During the Sydney Convention, and also when we achieve the eradication of polio, the eyes of the world and the eyes of Sydney and the world will be upon Rotary. Is your club ready to take advantage of that? I invite you to join me in engaging with younger Rotarians, men and women, and together get ready to change the world. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and how are you? Top of the morning to you. Tom Sweeney's my name. I am the Master of Ceremonies today, and hopefully we'll get to know each other a little bit more. Well, so far we're doing really, really well. Now, we've come to a bit of fun time in Rotary. Oh, by the way, do you like the new Rotary uniform? Yeah, come on. I mean, you've got to wait now. You've got to wait. You have to wait till about 2016 to get this one. So make sure you do. Okay, now, bit of fun. If I'm going to stand out here with these gorgeous people and make a total idiot of myself, then so are you. And the reason is we're going to have a bit of fun about the zones in the new District 9685. With mountains to the sea, there's a lot of new folk around. District Governor Graham said to me, he said, okay, Tom, what zone are you from? I said, as far as I know, the Twilight Zone. So he said, no. Let's have a look at the zones. So we're going to have a bit of fun. There's going to be some beach balls being thrown around. We're going to put the zones up on the screen. If you come from that zone, then cheer along. But we're going to get you up on your feet if you want to. We're going to actually dance to the music of Kylie Minogue's 1987 hit, Locomotion, which translates to Rotomotion. So, John, hit it!
Okay. All those needing medical attention, please see outside staff. That world one is a killer. Okay, bit of fun, settle down, lights out. We're back on track. Thank you. We'll be back real soon. Thanks, guys. Don't you introduce the Ripper now or something? Yes.
We just need to make sure they don't suddenly appear, especially in the next segment. Because it's my great pleasure now to invite to the stage our World President's, Rotary International World President's personal representative, Trish Boyle. Would you please make Trish welcome?
Well, that's a hard act to follow, isn't it? Greetings to DG Graham Davies and Lynn, DG N Scott and his wife PDG Jennifer, DG N Gina Crowden, though I know she's doing other things at the moment, and PDG Harold Sharp, immediate past District Governor John Dodds and Janelle and their extended family, past District Governor David and Anne Rand. This is a wonderful district from this mountain to the sea, and I can say that even though I am from New Zealand. Rotary International President Ron Burton and Jetta send their best wishes for a successful conference and thank the 2,136 members of this district for their continued involvement in engaging Rotary and changing lives. I'd like to share with you a video that was made for Zone 7B Institute in Auckland last year, and one that I think captures the essence of your expanded district.
Look into your eyes, it's like watching the night sky or a beautiful sunrise. Well, there's so much they hold, and just like them old stars, I see that you've come so far to be right where you are. How old is your soul?
Well, I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up. And when you're needing your space to do some navigating, I'll be here patiently waiting to see what you find. 'Cause even the stars, they burn. Some even fall to the earth. We've got a lot to learn. God knows we're worth it. No, I won't give up.
No, I won't give up. I don't want to be someone who walks away so easily. I'm here to stay and make the difference that I can make. I Our differences, they do a lot to teach us how to use the tools and gifts we got here. We got a lot at stake. And in the end, you're still my friend. At least we did intend for us to work. We didn't break, we didn't burn. We had to learn how to bend without the world caving in. I had to learn what I got and what I'm not, and who I am.
I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up. I'm
still looking up. Well, I won't give up. God knows I'm tough. He knows we got a lot to learn. God knows we're worth it.
I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up.
I'm still looking up.
These images we have seen show Rotarians all around the world working on service projects, creating ripples in their communities, and supporting projects and programs that are changing people's lives. On this 109th birthday of Rotary, we come together at this inaugural conference to celebrate both waves of change and oceans of opportunity in this new Rotary International District 9685. International President Ron Burton asks us to think about the rewards and opportunities of being a Rotarian and being a part of the family of Rotary. Sharing your enthusiasm for Rotary with others is the real key to growing and strengthening Rotary membership. Rotary has been a well-kept secret for too long. It's time to share the wonderful opportunities of Rotary with others. Tell a friend about your experience at this conference and about all that your club and districts do throughout the year. Help the ripples continue to grow. The more engaged we become, the greater the rewards we enjoy. Rotary International President Ron Burton says, "What I have learned during my Rotary journey is that as I engage Rotary, the life that has changed most has been mine." In 2005, I travelled to Agra, India, as part of a national immunisation team to immunise children against polio. My elder daughter travelled as part of this team, and it was her precious words that are a lasting memory for me. "Mum, just think, we changed this child's life." We did, but it also changed my life. From that day on, I became an active Rotarian, connecting with people at home and across the world, because I began to understand the power of being a Rotarian. The challenge for every Rotary leader at any level is making sure that every Rotarian can have that experience of epiphany, that moment of realising what Rotary is, what doors it opens, what a privilege it is to be a Rotarian. It is an incredibly exciting time to be a Rotarian. We are writing the last few pages of one chapter of Rotary history as we move ever closer to the end of polio. You need to find those people who are waiting to be asked. Find the people who never thought about Rotary and let them know how honoured you would be to offer them this opportunity. And when you inspire them with the amazing riches you give and receive from Rotary, and they become members, your job isn't over, just as Graham said before. It's only just beginning because you need to mentor them. Make sure they find a meaningful role in your club and that they get satisfaction out of Rotary. The most important thing we can do for the future of Rotary is make sure that Rotarians are engaged, and each one of us is doing the most we can. If we really want to take Rotary service forward, then we must make sure that every single Rotarian has the same feeling about Rotary that I had when I was in Agra. We need to make sure that every Rotarian has a meaningful role to play, that they're all making a contribution, and that their contributions are valued. Because when that happens, the members who come in the front door don't go out the back. They stay in Rotary. They become Rotarians. They bring in new members and they make a difference. The job of membership isn't done when you bring in a new member. It's not done until that member is engaged in Rotary, is inspired by Rotary, and uses the power of Rotary service to change lives. We need members who are more engaged, more involved, motivated, who will lead us into our post-polio future and everything that is to come in Rotary. Our motto that is unique to Rotary, service above self, describes the highest form of service. It is a path that anyone can walk, a path that Rotarians have built and that the whole world can follow. The Rotary Strategic Plan is the roadmap to help take us down this path. It helps give us direction, to give greater continuity in service and achieve more significant goals over the longer term. The nature of the continual change in leadership in Rotary means that the strategic plan that is in place for Rotary International is one that needs to be replicated in our clubs. It is important that vision and strategic thinking underpin what we do in our clubs. Rotarians join our service clubs to get involved, and successful service projects help support and strengthen the fabric of our clubs. Today, we are part of a community where the competition for people's time is fierce. No organisation has the right to demand people's time and then make inefficient use of it. We have a responsibility as Rotarians to have a planned approach to developing, planning and implementing ideas to help other people, and know that our efforts are making a difference now and will continue to develop as ripples and waves that grow and enhance people's lives. It is also important that we remain strong as an organisation, and we must remain relevant to our times. To quote Paul Harris, if Rotary is to realise its proper destiny, it must be evolutionary at all times and revolutionary on occasions. We belong to Rotary because we have made a success of our lives, and possibly because someone has helped us on the way. Let us pass on the skills and knowledge which we have to others. More than ever today, if we want to live our dreams, then we have to find a way for other people to live theirs. Community service is a long-term investment with an extremely high yield. Hugh Mackay, in his book, The Good Life, What Makes a Life Worth Living, says, "No one can promise you that a life lived for others will bring you a deep sense of satisfaction, but it's certain that nothing else will." This past year was one of major accomplishments for Rotary and your Rotary Foundation. Extraordinary progress was made towards the eradication of polio. India has been polio-free for over 3 years, an amazing achievement. Last year, there were a total of over 399 cases, only 399 cases across the world, 159 of these in endemic countries. The incidence of 240 cases in non-endemic countries highlights the importance of eradicating polio in the world. A difficult road lies ahead, but thanks to the commitment and generosity of Rotarians and friends, we are confident that Rotary will lead the way towards a polio-free world Just imagine what Rotary's done. You couldn't have ever thought of it. It is an incredible, incredible vision. In January, President Barack Obama signed a bill that provides $205 million to support polio eradication in 2014 through the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. We are truly this close. As we look ahead, we can be proud of all that Rotarians have accomplished across the world and in this district. DJ Graham and his team have embraced the new district and have achieved some outstanding successes this year. They have worked hard to engage Rotary and change lives. Their efforts are creating huge waves in your local communities and providing opportunities for many people both here and across the world. Your involvement in the co-hosting of the International Rotary Convention has taken a lot of your energy, but you have still managed to run vibrant and exciting projects. In the words of Rotary International President Ron Burton, he says, "At a convention, for a few short days, we see the world as Paul Harris imagined it. A world where men and women from every corner of the globe come together to build peace, to serve others, and simply to enjoy one another's company. Differences of background, politics, culture and religion are woven together, all part of one bright tapestry. What a wonderful experience we have to look forward to. You just can't afford to miss it." I have read your club bulletins and district newsletters with interest and am impressed with what club members in your Rotary clubs are doing. You are involved in many exciting programs and projects. I'd like to highlight some areas that show particularly how you have worked to engage Rotary and change lives. Your commitment to the Rotary Foundation is outstanding. I think Graham must have read some of my notes. He's talked about some of this already. You have an Arch Clump Society member, 21 major donors, 18 Bequest Society members, 98 benefactors, and 3,035 Paul Harris Fellows. As at the February figures, your district was first for Australia in annual giving with 124,000, which is an average of 57.95 a member. And the figure of 40,200 towards polio eradication also places you first for all districts in Australia. That's an amazing effort and great leadership from a new district. The projects in your clubs are many and varied. An excellent example of leadership is that of DG Graham's wife Lynn, who has initiated a project on raising awareness about the importance of hearing. She's challenged many Rotarians to create waves of change and enrich people's lives. There's an exciting focus on youth throughout your district programs, and we saw some of the students this morning, with 7 Interact clubs, 7 Rotaract clubs, and you have a strong focus on the Rotary Youth Exchange Program. Last night, my husband Simon and daughter Louise were fortunate to have dinner with immediate past District Governor John Dodd and Janelle at their house with some students. And we met the children who've been involved in Rotary Youth Exchange, not children, the young adults. It was such fun. What amazing opportunities they have had. Currently you have 21 outbound students and 19 inbound students. Recently, volunteer leaders conducted an outstanding RIPEN for 80 students, and a successful RILA program was held in January. All of these young people are our leaders of the future, and the commitment of your district to these programs is outstanding. 2 very different projects of how Rotary can achieve the advancement of international peace, goodwill and understanding were outlined in the DGE newsletter recently, and I quote, "Fellowship and fun were clearly evident when the Rotary Club of Central Blue Mountains and others came almost to the sea to celebrate both the 4th anniversary of the Rotary Club of Chatswood International and the Chinese New Year and the Year of the Horse. The evening featured Chinese dance, music, and of course cuisine. It involved the Rotarians who sponsored and supported the visit last September of a group of young people affected by the 2011 Japanese tsunami. A youth-led development forum is being held, sponsored by Rotary District 9685 and Macquarie University. This forum brings together 6 young Timorese leaders who are involved in Ryla, Timor-Leste or the Dili Rotaract Club, with students from Macquarie University. The students will examine a range of human rights and community development issues. The forum is an outcome of the work undertaken over several years by Theo and Georgia Glockman and Rotarians from across District 9685 through a Rotary Australia World Community Service project. What started with a single idea has now led to a variety of productive programs involving more than 400 young adults. These are both excellent examples of the diversity of programs across your district. I have enjoyed looking at the photos of your projects on your website and the range of projects you're involved with. Your amazing commitment to Shelterbox, St Jude's in Tanzania, scholarships for teachers in Fiji, eye surgery for a child in Papua New Guinea, you work with ROMAC, graffiti removal, supporting the bushfire appeals, acknowledging achievement of students, and many various fundraising events. All of these efforts show how much your Rotarians are engaged with Rotary and making changes to people's lives. Congratulations, it's a huge effort you're doing. We belong to the greatest service organisation in the world. Many things have changed over the 109 years since Rotary started, but some have not. One is our motto, service above self. Thank you for your commitment to engaging Rotary and changing lives, and to providing opportunities for Rotarians and non-Rotarians. The strength and the future of Rotary lies with you. It will be the extent of your vision, willingness and commitment in the way that you continue to engage Rotary and change lives in your community that will impact on many generations to come. In closing, I'd like to leave you with the words of Nelson Mandela. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, those people who are attending a conference for the first time would perhaps not be familiar with the acronym Rotary International President Personal Representative. But we have just heard from Trish, who is that person, with an inspirational speech, and the acronym RIPPA. That was RIPPA, Trish. Thank you.
I'm back. Good morning again, everyone. Okay, we now come to a very important part of our program dedicated to the youth of Rotary. That in particular means Rotaract. And Mahatma Gandhi once said, whatever you do may seem insignificant, but it's terribly important that you actually do it. So I'm going to introduce 2 very powerful and motivated ladies. I'm not going to read a 14-page introduction, as their personality and their message is more important. But these 2 amazing ladies are Rotarian Amanda Woods. She's the District Rotaract Chair. She's the past Chair of Rotaract Australia and past District Rotaract Representative. Then there's Chrissy Braden. She is the co-chair of the RI Rotaract Interact Committee. You're getting all this? Okay, the first Rotaractor to ever be a member of the RI New Generations Committee, and she was also last year's Australian Rotaractor of the Year. Please welcome Amanda and Chrissy to the stage. Thank you.
If we could just get everyone to smile, we've got to take a quick selfie to let everyone know that we're here. Thank you.
Well, welcome and good morning. There's not a lot of reasons that I get out of bed at around 5 o'clock in the morning, but I'll have to tell you that Chrissy and I are both happy to do it for Rotary. Now, I'd just like, before we sort of get into our presentation, to ask all the Rotaractors to stand up, please, wherever you are. Now, stay standing for 2 seconds while I ask everyone who's previously been involved with Rotaract to stand.
Yeah.
I'd just like to point out that we had a few past district governors, a few possible future district governors stand up just then. There's a wealth of information and knowledge in our Rotaractors. It is our longest serving youth program. We have Ryla, Ripen, whatever, weekends, week-long. Rotaract goes for potentially 12 years. Now, within that time, we've recently commenced president and board-elect training on a national level. We have a number of PHFs within our ranks, and a few around. And on an international level, we have over 200,000 Rotaractors in 9,500 clubs. That's too much for Rotary to lose. So what is Rotaract? Just quickly. You can see on the screen we've got a list of our clubs in our district. We're 18 to 30s, and we do pretty much what you guys do. We're in clubs, we do service projects. We may have a little more emphasis on the networking component, especially when it comes to international stuff. And we have so much to offer. It's a real loss to Rotary that so many Rotaractors age out at 30 and are lost to the organisation.
We thought that today we would give you a little bit of a snapshot of what Rotaract in our district has been up to over the last 12 months or so, just to help you get a feel for what it is that we have been up to.
Okay, we had the fabulous Hills Rotaract. Woo! Okay. Chartered on the 9th of August last year, one of their first projects was a paper drive for Lifeline. Now, the Lifeline organisation had told their staff that they had to bring their own paper in to make notes due to funding cuts. The Hills Club saw a need for a service project. They collected paper. President Tess, standing next to the paper, so a human-sized worth of paper was donated to Lifeline.
We like to get our hands dirty and get involved wherever we can, and this is both with our own projects but also supporting Rotary projects and events. Some of the ones that we've been involved with recently, almost every club in the district had people out at Graffiti Removal Day. There was, Gunnagarang was involved with donations in kind this year. The International College of Management Sydney, or ICMS, was doing some hands-on projects with Bear Cottage, and both Ripen in Australia and East Timor, and Ryla here has Rotaractors as facilitators in both programs, so we're very involved with all aspects of the Rotary family. We also like to do a bit of fundraising, including getting on board with Movember, much to my disgust, and the End Polio campaign. Clubs try to come up with unique ways of fundraising, and some of those include pole dancing for polio, and Punch for Polio, a self-defence class that one club ran last year. We've also, Central Coast and ICMS and many other clubs are involved in fundraising for the bushfire appeal in recent months. The Colour Run for the MS Society was a big one, and probably our biggest one of the year was a national event or national project, the Men of Rotaract calendar, which raised over $1,000 for Beyond Blue, which was a fantastic effort, and 4 of the lovely young studs from our district featured in that calendar. Trivia nights, we love it just as much as you guys, and lots of trivia nights have been held in the past year, and in particular recently one was fundraising for the charity that Amanda is about to share with you.
Now, Human Hope Association is an organisation in Cambodia. It also has an Australian board, which in my spare time, I'm the organisational director. But we have a Rotaractor. She was the charter president for Eastern Suburbs Rotaract Club, Sally Hetherington. Now, Sally has basically donated herself to the organisation for the last couple of years, and it's been amazing to see the Rotaract clubs in our district and across Australia support her. Now, Macquarie Uni had a fantastic trivia night, raising over $4,000 for this organisation.
We agree.
Props. And Crosslands have been sponsoring her living costs, and Gunnagarang recently have donated $1,200 towards a sustainable farming project.
It's been fantastic that we've been able to rally behind a Rotaractor who really is giving everything, living in Cambodia and working with the community, helping them to become sustainable in their own right at this organisation. And I think it's been great for Rotaractors to be able to support Sally in the great work that she's doing in Cambodia. The Cancer Council and National Breast Cancer Foundation are two other organisations that have benefited hugely from Rotaract's support. Almost every club has been involved with the Relay for Life for the Cancer Council, and many Rotaractors have served on the committees organising these events as well. And the ICMS team also did a bake sale and a high tea to raise money for the National Breast Cancer Foundation as well. Cancer touches everyone in some way or another, so I'm not surprised that Rotaractors have gotten behind so many of these causes with many different events. A particularly great relationship between a Rotaract club and a local charity would be the Lower North Shore Rotaract Club and their work with the Ku-ring-gai Youth Development Services. So in the past year, they've been involved in physically helping renovate these facilities. They've volunteered at the Linfield Fun Run, and they've hosted numerous events of their own to help fundraise for this great charity with a scavenger hunt and my particular favourite, Rotaract's Got Talent. They've had a really great relationship with this, and they've been able to raise over $3,000 in recent times to go towards this great local charity. My own club, Crosslands, for the last 5 years has been running their Sealed with a Kiss project, where we designed and produced our own range of Christmas cards, selling and raising around $1,000 each year. And that money has gone towards our annual rural schools project. Our first year, we teamed up with Rouse Hill Rotary to provide stationery supplies for the Berowina Central School. Now, Berowina, if you don't know and haven't done the 11-hour drive out there in one hit, is not the back of Burke, but it's the side of Burke, so it was quite the road trip to go and deliver to them on their first day of school. And in more recent times, we've focused our efforts with disaster-affected schools such as the Bundaberg Central School after the floods last year, and then Ellison Primary School this year, who were in a community affected by the recent bushfires. So that one's been a really big annual project for Crosslands Club. The Rotaract Club of Macquarie University, I've missed a photo there, I apologise, have been involved with running their own homework program, both in Epping and in Eastwood. The Eastwood program has been running for several years, and the Epping program is now at capacity, so they can always use more volunteers, but they've used this homework help as a way of getting, having a hands-on experience working with local primary school children, just to help them with their education and just to give their Rotaractors a sense of being part of that community and knowing that they're making a difference with these young students. I'll pass over to Amanda for her Old Clubs project.
My home and my heart. Gunnagarang Rotaract Club have committed 3 years of their time to a specific project, the Kathleen Kegel Children's Fund. Now, there's an orphanage in Sri Lanka and an agricultural project as well. Now, the 3-year support included 2 service trips over to Sri Lanka, both approximately 2 weeks long, with hands-on work. Now, they did a lot of fundraising prior to going over there, donated some goods, but also painted, rewired, electricity. We're all qualified electricians by Sri Lankan standards.
Scary thought, isn't it?
So don't ever ask any of us to rewire anything, but it was an experience, I'll tell you.
And they all came back alive, so it must have gone well. Yes, knock on wood. My particular favourite, and perhaps one of the biggest success stories in our district, would be Splash for Cash, a swimathon series that is raising money for the Royal Institute for Deaf and Blind Children based in North Rocks. I'd love to say that this project was my idea, but it actually started in 1984, which was the year I was born. So this Rotaract event has been running for 30 years. This year would be its 31st year. And in that time, the swimathon has grown. It was actually, I found out recently, the first ever event held at the Olympic pool before it opened for the Olympics, which is very exciting. And in that time, it's actually raised over $800,000 for RIDBC. Now, Rotaract started that when the numbers in the district had dropped. It lost its involvement in the organisation of the event, but still participated that entire time. And in the last 8 years, since I became totally passionate about it, we've taken more of an ownership level of the event again, and I've been able to facilitate Rotaract clubs in different districts all around the country running Splash for Cash events in their own communities. This year, because of all the competition with fun runs, mud runs, colour runs, and the fact that athletic events for charity are a very common thing, it's now evolving rather than being a community event into a school event, which will be hosted by the King's School this year. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Splash for Cash continues to evolve, but it just goes to show that when a Rotaractor has an idea, just like a Rotarian, it can really come and make really great things happen. Now, you may have seen an email go out asking if anyone had a burning question about Rotaract, and we did get a couple of great submissions. But we also encourage you, come and talk to us afterwards. We're not that scary, we promise, and we would love to talk about all things Rotaract and where our future in the Rotary family lies as well. So I'll hand over to Amanda for the first question that was posed to us.
Okay, the first question came from the Rotary Club of Woy Woy. The question reads, we were responsible for chartering the Rotaract Club of Central Coast, New South Wales. It is only a very small club, but thriving. Some members, though, will be turning 30 this year. So it is a shame to see them have to move on. Why can't members choose the age they join Rotary? Some people develop quicker than others. Now, officially, you can be a Rotarian from the age of 18. So that's up to the individual. Now, we age out, or graduate, as I like to call it, into Rotary at the age of 30. Now, I did that a couple of years ago, and I'll tell you what, the year or two leading up to it, I was sitting there praying that the Council of Legislation would change their minds and make it 35, maybe 40, so I could hang around a little longer. But to be perfectly honest, Rotary needs those people. Now, Rotaract is very much a training ground for future Rotarians. Okay? Now, we've discussed the relating age. So, say a 30-year-old in a club and an 18-year-old. Socially, demographically, there's a big gap there. So to extend that to 40, you'll probably be losing the cohesion in the club. Having said that, 30 is not what it used to be. 30 used to be married, kids, house, cars, settled in your occupation. And I'll tell you right now, as an almost 33-year-old, I ain't there yet. But that means there's chance for Rotary to change. Like D.G. Graham said, evolve. Become what the world needs. A lot of younger people are looking for the vehicle to change the world. And we need to make Rotary that vehicle.
Our second question came from Joy Pogson of Carlingford Rotary. A university is a great place to start a Rotaract club, and the Macquarie Uni Club, for example, is a great success. What happens once they complete their degrees? The great thing about community clubs, and most universities don't have rules that prevent community members from being part of their campus club. Macquarie Uni, for instance, has quite a number of members that are not studying at the university but either live in the area or have since graduated and decided to stay on with that club. So just because somebody graduates doesn't mean that they can't remain a part of that club. Otherwise, we certainly do our best to find them a home within their new community within Rotaract. ICMS is only allowed to have people who are students there as members of their club, and they're mostly international students, so we do whatever we can once they graduate to help them either find or start a Rotaract club in their home community wherever they are in the world. Question number 3.
Question 3 came from our lovely DG Graham. How can we significantly improve the transition from Rotaractors into full membership of Rotary clubs? Now, I'll touch on briefly my own personal experience. I aged out and joined a Rotary club. I was excited. It was going to change the world, was going to change the club, was going to make everything fabulous. And I was met with, no, we can't do that. That's against the Constitution. I was also told that, well, I work part-time for a charity, so financially, so the two of the main problems that Rotaractors have in transitioning into Rotary is time and money, okay? Most of us can't always make weekly meetings, and I know a lot of clubs are doing things to address that. The cost of your weekly meeting. Personally, say it's a $25 meeting, 4 meetings, and you can be a centurion. To me, that makes so much more sense. Do you know what I mean? So, we need to look at our existing clubs evolving to fit the younger members. I had a member of that club tell me that, if you can't afford the meetings, you've got nothing to give. Side point, I couldn't afford the meetings, but I got a little bit of something to give. To be honest, the first year I spent in Rotary, if that was the only experience I had had of Rotary, I would have left the family. But the 6 years I had in Rotaract before that made me stay. I'm currently in the process of chartering an e-club. We need to evolve, okay? The world's changing, people are changing. What people want from service clubs is changing. Perhaps we start more e-clubs. Perhaps we add e-components to existing traditional clubs. It's up to each club. If you get the club right, the membership will come. So it's a club-by-club basis. Now, just to close off, Chrissy and I are going to give you a bit of our stories in Rotary. Now, I joined Rotaract when my beloved father, who some of you know, was the youth director of his club. There's this thing called Rotaract, come and have a look. Okay, Dad, sure. Went to a meeting at the lovely Gunnagarang Rotaract Club. Before the end of the first meeting, I was club secretary. I got stuck there for about 3 years. They only let me leave that position because I put my hand up to be club president. I was then the district Rotaract representative for 9690. I moved on to Australia, Rotaract Australia, which is the multi-district information organisation, effectively RDU for Rotaract. I was the chairperson for that, and this year I was the Rotary advisor. So they're creating roles to keep me around. On an international level, I was asked to help conduct DRR training at one of the Asia Pacific conferences, and was on the standing committee for the Asia Pacific conference as well. In terms of what it's done for me, and I guess to re-quote Ron Burton, the biggest life it's changed is mine. Before I started in Rotaract, I couldn't have done this. I couldn't have spoken to all of you wonderful people. I probably would have still been in bed. Not to say anything about generation, but just a personal thing. I have been overseas on service projects. I've been overseas to conventions. My first international convention was Bangkok. Not this year, but last year. And to see 35,000 Rotarians from 172 different countries, all there under the banner of service above self, brought it home to me. This is why I'm here.
It's very true. I guess for me, I've been in Rotaract for 8 years now, so I've been in Rotaract longer than any current Rotaractor in our district. It makes me feel old, a little bit sad about that. But for me, I did RILA in 2006, sponsored by Castle Hill Rotary Club. Joined Rotaract straight after. RILA changed my life and helped me discover what I was capable of, but Rotaract is where I've actually gotten to prove and show people, like through actions, what I was capable of. If you'd told me 8 years ago that I'd be sitting on a committee with Rotary International and that I would have run an event that's raised tens of thousands of dollars, I would have laughed. I never dreamed that that's something that I would be capable of, but through the Rotary New Generations programs, I've really discovered that, and I honestly have no idea who I would be or where I would be in life if it hadn't have been for the fantastic family of Rotary. And I guess when I was in Chicago last year with the New Generations Committee, Ron Burton said something that really hit home for me. He said, "New Generations programs are not our future. They are our now. And if we can't work out how to engage these young people and keep them in our family, we've lost the battle." And that for me was really interesting because people keep talking to me about how we are the future of Rotary, but realistically we're even more important today. I'm 29, I turned 30 at the end of the year and age out of Rotaract, and I'm really excited about my future in the Rotary family. So he's saying that we need to engage new gens now. Engage me. I'm so passionate about this organisation and I can't wait to find my home in Rotary next year. And I know a lot of other Rotaractors are the same. We just wanted to say thank you, and please come and chat to us at the breaks. We've got a Rotaract stall out there. It's great to hear so many people have signed up for the convention. Come to the Rotaract pre-convention before. The program is amazing and it's going to be really great, and you can learn a lot about what Rotaract has to offer and how you can build great relationships with the Rotaractors in our district. Thank you very much for having us.
Ladies and gentlemen, please thank Amanda and Chrissy. Whoa. Can we wait until they're district governor? I don't think so. They're going to be great when they are. Gee, they're powerful and interesting women. We now come to a little section now where I'm going to talk to you about the breakout sessions, which is your homework during the morning tea break, which is coming up at 10 o'clock. To help me with the breakout sessions, I'm going to invite 7 beautiful, charming assistants on stage. That's your cue. Oh, they're already there. Oh, good. The silence. Okay, now let's just go through it, and what you've got to do is mentally just think about which one you would like to go to, so when the time comes, you'll know who to follow. So if you're interested in Rotary and sustainability and interactive discussion, you follow number 1. Step forward, number 1. Boom. Good. If you're interested in how to bring healing to a child through ROMAC, you will follow number 2. This is like shoot 'em ducks, isn't it? Yeah. If you're interested in how your club can change lives with Rorks, you follow number 3. Yay! If you're interested in engaging women in Rotary, you will follow number 4. Okay, now, how to attract tomorrow's Rotarians and our next generation of leaders, you will follow number 5. Nicely done. The concise A to Z of Rotary Foundation is number 6. And of course, take a stand and stop bullying is number 7. So the trick is, when the time comes, just look for your number. They'll be in the foyer, they will gather you and they will take you to your various meeting rooms. We don't expect you to know exactly where they are. I live here and even I don't know where they are. So there you go. So that's our breakout sessions. They are going to be so interesting. They're a vital part of our program today, and I think you'll enjoy every single one of those. So thank you to my team. You may exit the stage. Yeah, give them a round of applause. They look fabulous. Okay, we now bring the mood down a little bit. And if you're like me, and I'm from the Rotary Club of Crow's Nest, and you lose a member through death throughout the year, it really bowls you over. That person that you've been used to seeing week after week has been a vital member of your club is suddenly not there. It is a member of your Rotary family that has left you for whatever reason. So we're just going to spend a little bit of time now and remember those Rotarians that have left us during the year. And after that we'll have a minute's silence. So I will read from this list. I'm just going to read names and their club. And the first one is Royce Abbey, past Rotary International President. Then we have George Mitchell from Balgowlah. We have John Terry from Balgowlah. There's John Dind, also from Balgowlah. Ken Hatton from Brookvale. Faye Lang, who's the wife of past District Governor John Lang from Brookvale. There is Alan Gregory from Carlingford. As I mentioned earlier, there's Mayor Pat Riley, who is a member of both the Chatswood and Northbridge clubs. From my own club of Crow's Nest, Kevin Sweeney. From the Jewel Club, Peter McCartney. Nick Slicker from Eastwood. Paul Covrea from Frenchs Forest. John Phillips from Gosford. James Kirkness, also from Gosford. John Gowland from Gosford North, and Max Fox from Hornsby. There was Bruce Dunlop from Kincumber, and you remember John Carrick from the Linfield Club, Ian Davis from the Lower Blue Mountains, Gordon James from Manly, James Rose from Manly, and Peter Dawson, also from Manly. There's Jim Reed from Mossman, Philip Perkins from Mossman, Heinz Wickie from Neutral Bay, Tom Fisher, North Sydney, Janet Moles from North Sydney Sunrise, and of course you remember Graham Goodfellow from Northbridge, Alan Lumley from Penrith, Warren Pinfold from Penrith, Helmut Buss from Roseville Chase, Graham Cook from Roseville Chase, and Ted Roach from Wahroonga. Would you please just join with me in a minute's silence as we remember those wonderful Rotarians who have given such service to our organisation. Thank you. Thank you for your attention, and to all those that have left us, Godspeed. We're now, just before we go to morning tea, I need to just bring you up to date with a few bits of housekeeping. One is to remember which breakout session you're going to. Number two, don't forget to drop into the sponsor stands. Both Ord Minnett and Subaru have a business card drop-in bowl there, and there's some wonderful prizes from those sponsors to be given out at the end of the day. There's also some wonderful other sponsors. There's also the display stands. Those who are delegates will need to think about their voting, and of course you need to say hello to your fellow Rotarians during that time. So I hope you've enjoyed the program so far. We have a crackerjack program for you after morning tea, right through to lunch and right through this afternoon. And while District Governor Graham is here, ladies and gentlemen, I have to point out that this is the very first one-day conference ever. And I have to say, I don't know about you, but I have to say, woo! Because, you know, I mean, we're busy people, and I just think it's great to have a one-day conference. Naturally, because coming up in June is the 2014 RI World Convention. Wow, 24,000 Rotarians from all around the world will gather in Sydney in June. You'll hear a little bit about that coming up, and I'll be involved in that as well. But just to think that here we are gathered for a wonderful day of Rotary fellowship and camaraderie, and the fact that we can all go home at the end of the day. This is great. There will be drinks and things at the end, so we can enjoy that as well. So, if you've got your homework ready, you know what you're doing, you're going to see the sponsors, see the various displays, drop your business cards into the bowls, and have a nice, well-earned cup of tea. See you in half an hour. Bye all.
Hi, I'm Graham and I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Kincumber and belong to a Rotary district that extends from Manly to Lake Munmora and out to Lithgow. We're here today at the Concourse at Chatswood for our district conference. We'd like to invite you to stay around the urban screen to find out more about Rotary and the programs in which we engage. You may wish to visit our sponsor, Subaru, visit the shelter box, or go inside the foyer of the concourse and visit Ordmanet or see some of our projects in there. Thank you.
The soccer clinics are meant to be for juniors. If they're here in the one place, they'll make friends and just create some harmony within the local area.
Very easy, not too hard.
We need to invest in our young people today.
These guys here, James, Silva, Tito and David, they're here today to present you with a little gift for coming out.
They now have to make a new life in a peaceful, positive way.
Rotarians, they came here when her mother and father died.
We picked this family around 2004. We were led by a young sister. So we gave them assistance in terms of health, in terms of food, and other utensils that they wanted as a normal child. When these children fall sick, we normally use their guardians and the neighbors, so they telephone to us and seek for help. Because this is a longer distance, in most cases they can't travel to the hospital. So they call us and explain what happens with them and what their problem is. We normally come, examine them and treat them.
I want to become a nurse to help the orphans. I don't want to see them when they are crying, sick, and they don't have anything to eat.
Despite the fact that their parents died, they wish to have the best life that we all have.
For community, we do it cause we care. We do it cause we're Rotary, and Rotary's everywhere. We work because it's needed, we're on it every day. We want to make the world a better place, so Rotary's here to stay. Rotary is community, Rotary is care. Rotary Clubs Australia, Rotaries everywhere. People motivated, working every day to make our world a better place. That's Rotary today. To make our world a better place. That's Rotary today. for community. We do it 'cause we care. We do it 'cause we're Rotary, and Rotary's everywhere. We work because it's needed. We're on it every day. We want to make the world a better place, so Rotary's here to stay. Rotary is community. Rotary is care. Rotary's all around the world. Rotary's everywhere. People motivated, working every day to make our world a better place. That's Rotary today. To make our world a better place. That's Rotary today.
The Foreign Coin Repatriation Project of the Rotary Club of Hornsby is entering its third decade and is becoming larger than life. We need your help to keep it going for decades more. Currently, we collect foreign coins from Bendigo Banks, American Express, Travel Money Oz, selected Westpac and Commonwealth Bank branches, as well as Harvey World Travel. We use numbered, locked Perspex boxes for collection. Each box is collected by one of our collection officials and replaced with an empty box. From there, each box is brought to one of several coordination areas where the coins are weighed, recorded, and allocated to sorters. Each box is tracked via its unique number so we know where each box is, how long it has been there, and the likely time it will need to be collected. As each box's contents are weighed and recorded, we have an idea of how much to expect on a regular basis, and therefore how many sorting personnel might be called upon. We also can identify what geographical areas might need more collection points, so we can maximize the service to our community. Each sorter has a method that works for them. There is no right way to do it, except to do it accurately. Some people sort into different colors before sorting into countries. Some sort into collections they recognize, then one pile for the rest, and revisit that group later for refinement. Our members, our friends, and our friends' friends help us to repatriate the coins to their originating countries. Some coins are even donated directly to areas in need, like an orphanage in Vietnam, a mental health clinic in Indonesia, or the Rotary Club of Port Klang, Malaysia, as we do. The coins we cannot return to the countries of origin are collected by a company in Brisbane called CoinCo, which, incidentally, was started by another Rotarian. All foreign monies collected go toward international projects, and Australian monies can go toward domestic charities. We hope that we have told you just enough to encourage you to ask questions and perhaps become involved. We currently have Rotary clubs in Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, Brisbane, and locations around the Northern Territory. The Rotary Club of Hornsby is currently opening this established project to other Rotary clubs. Our philosophy is that we can do more good as a large group than as individual clubs. You can benefit your charities, as we do, easily and quickly. Get involved now. Just ask us how.
Yes, Graham, we're talking about the Hearing Project. The reason for doing it is because hearing is just so important to us as human beings. Jane Goodall in the Lisbon Convention talked about how human contact through hearing is so critical.
But what is it that makes it so important?
Well, it's our human communication. It's the way we interact with each other. It's the language that we have that makes us human.
My youngest daughter, Kate, who's actually here with us today, has had a significant hearing impairment which we've had to deal with as a family with her growing up, and I guess she could tell you her story herself.
I have an experience with hearing loss that started when I was 11. I had my hearing loss was picked up in a routine primary school hearing test. And it was a big shock because we thought my hearing was fine. It turned out I had a mild to moderate loss. And the doctors told my mum that they thought it would be a loss that would be progressive and I might become profoundly deaf by the time I was 40. But in actual fact, I was profoundly deaf at by the age of 18. So I stopped using the phone at 12. I was struggling to hear in groups by 12 or 13. I got hearing aids at the age of 11, and my mum had to deal with a teenager who just didn't want to wear them. It got to the point where when I was at university, I was wearing my hearing aids full time but hiding them, and I got to the point where I felt like there was really no future for me because I didn't have any role models to look up to that were successful, any deaf role models. I only saw the people on the disability pension. So I got to the point where I said to Mum, I don't think I can really go on much longer like this. I'm struggling and I don't think there's any future for me. And so she took me aside and said, look, don't worry, we can do this together. We looked into different things like a cochlear implant, which wasn't at the time the right thing for me. They said it was too much of a risk. I booked into lip reading classes with Better Hearing Australia, and being the youngest person there, age 21, I walked in, there were people aged 60 to 80, and they said, love, you're in the wrong room. And I said, no, I actually need to be here, I'm deaf too. So after 7 weeks of learning to lip read, I became very good, and I got captions on the TV. Mum helped me a lot with that. I became much more open and honest about my hearing loss, and I told people when I met them straight away, just letting you know, I'm deaf, you're going to have to speak clearly, and if I ignore you, it's not because I don't like you, I just haven't heard you. And when I was 29, I decided to take the leap and get a cochlear implant, and it was the best thing I've ever done. Within a week, I was on the phone to my mum, and I talked to her for a whole 4.5 minutes, but she couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe it was me, and it had been 15 years since I'd spoken to her, and it's just been amazing. I can hear really well now, but I'm so glad that I took the time, those years, to get used to having to deal with not hearing and being open about it, because that has been the most critical thing that has helped me deal with it day to day, is the openness and honesty and not being ashamed about it. It's just a part of who I am, and it doesn't stop me from doing anything.
Well, I must confess that I also wear hearing aids. In fact, they are my mother-in-law's, but they work perfectly well for me, and it makes a huge difference. Kate, thank you so much for your story today, and especially the support and relationship you had with your mother through that journey, and also the work that you currently do. It's just wonderful.
Thank you, Graham.
And thank you for joining our Fireside Chat today. This project of Lynn's started off as an awareness-raising project. It was going to work across and is working across all avenues of service. But it's got so much support from within and outside Rotary that now there's a component which is funding a PhD scholarship through Australian Rotary Health. And so we hope that as this comes out in more detail, all clubs will be able to support that as a district project to fund a PhD scholar in the area of hearing. Until next time, thank you.
So if Rotary can start something where they say, make it visible, talk about it, be open, it's not a big deal, it's a fact of life.
Welcome to the Concourse, the home of our first conference for District 9685.
Hi, I'm Noel.
Hi, I'm Tom. Thanks, District Governor Graham, for giving us the opportunity to tell our fellow Rotarians about an exciting and different kind of Rotary conference right here in Chatswood, the retail hub of the North Shore. We're right here at the somewhat noisy but exciting performing arts venue called the Concourse.
Yes, and next year, on the 23rd of February, it's Rotary's 108th birthday and the first year of our new district, 9685. So, let's make this a great celebration of both events.
This will be a one-day conference.
Yes!
The first of its kind in our district. We're easily accessible by public transport. The Chatswood railway station is just moments away. There's free parking right here at the venue, first come, first served. And of course, there's even room for minibuses.
And we'll have outstanding music from Chatswood High, Knox Grammar Brass Ensemble, Willoughby City Band, and a Dixieland jazz band, as well as performers from Willoughby Theatre Company. That's your place, Tom.
It is.
We promise you something different and exciting. Come and see for yourself.
Join us to celebrate the achievements of our district's clubs, as well as enjoying an outstanding program called Paul Harris Remembers. But that's a secret. There's also a reminder about why we should be Rotarians, new developments in hearing technology, recognition of vocational excellence, and a showcase by Rotarac, to name a few.
Yes, and we'll also highlight some of the great results in Rotary service, both locally and internationally, like Shelterbox and the quick response by our district and clubs in the recent bushfires, right here in our own area. So let's celebrate the achievements of our clubs together.
Our breakout sessions will include sustainability, Rotary grants, ROMAC and Interplast, Rotary Public Relations, polio, women in Rotary, and a segment called Stop the Bullying.
Rotary will be showcased not only inside this venue, but also on the urban screen, in the Chatswood Mall, and for the first time ever, we'll go online.
You can get more information on our conference website. That's conference2014.rotarydistrict9685.org.au. Make sure you register.
Yes, make sure you register now for this conference where we'll all be informed, inspired and entertained.
See you here at the Concourse in February.
Thank you, Tom and Noel, for telling us about the conference and showing us around the Concourse, the fantastic venue we have for our first conference in District 9685. If it's not yet the 1st of December and you have not registered for the conference, can I suggest you do so straight away to take advantage of the early bird registration. In any case, our conference is a great value for money. For new Rotarians, there's a special rate, and that rate lasts all the way through to the beginning of the conference for just $70. Now the good news is that that rate will also apply to a guest that you may wish to invite who is a non-Rotarian, a neighbour or a work colleague, so you can share with them the wonderful world of Rotary. I look forward to seeing you on the 23rd.
Wherever I go, I always say, I don't have money to afford a doctor, but the filter lets me avoid many troubles. They are not just giving us a concrete box, they are giving us health and a better quality of life for our children.
An hour, even a couple hours of walking. Women seem to really be drawn to having someone just do a quick assessment of them and feel their belly and hear the baby's heartbeat and hear that everything is going well.
Easton is the oldest public high school in the city of New Orleans. It breathes the city because it holds a lot of tradition. When you look towards the school, you see this castle. And within this kingdom, everybody is a family.
We travel from place to place, trying to figure out where could we go, because New Orleans is our home.
I grew up in uptown New Orleans. I moved to Hammond, Louisiana.
I grew up in New Orleans, born and raised. I had to evacuate to Dallas, Texas, about 8 hours away.
We were determined that we were going to make it. Well, if this school didn't make it, the city wouldn't.
It is no either or, correct? It is both.
Every child had a book and every child had a seat.
Okay, he said it's 20 degrees Celsius.
Because science is just or more important.
It was a beacon.
Got it?
Got it.
And it gave momentum to others that wanted to come back and open schools. It could not have happened without everybody working together and saying, you know, this is our city, this is our school.
Without the school, where do we have to go? I mean, to get an education and to possibly venture out into other worlds and come back and help our community. If the school wouldn't have reopened, what future would we have?
Rotary really helped us to expand the scope of what we're doing. Now, just 2 years down the line, we're working with over 100 women. Ultimately, our goal is to work with over 1,000 women because we believe that investing in women can create sustainable and measurable impacts in this community that will help to end child labor and ultimately alleviate the cycle of chronic poverty.
I've come from Sale, so I travelled to Churchill to do my uni for 4 years, and now I'm at the Sale Hospital and hopefully stay here next year after my grad is finished.
My role in the East Gippsland Regional Clinical School is I'm an administration officer supporting the academics here. We run a program for medical students. We have undergraduate medical students and graduate entry medical students. The hospitals are always short of nursing staff and qualified doctors and allied health professionals in no matter what part of Australia it's in, rural and remote areas.
Getting the scholarship is really beneficial because it allows me to stay in this area and it helps me be able to work as much as I need to be able to consolidate all my skills and put all my theory into practice.
Australian Rotary Health can offer these scholarships, which really helps the people stay. So the community benefits. The hospitals would benefit, of course. If the hospitals benefit, then it flows back into the community again. It's a two-way street.
Australian Rotary Health hold annual fundraising events, a fun way to raise money for health research. The Great Australian Bike Ride was a 9-stage ride around Australia. State bike riding events are held annually to raise money for Australian Rotary Health. Annual Rotary Golf Days highlight the importance of funding into mental health research. You might also have the opportunity to have a round of golf with Michael Klim, an Australian Rotary Health ambassador. Australian Rotary Health's largest fundraising event is Hat Day, a community event to spread mental health awareness. Hat Day is a day you and your Rotary Club can promote the importance of health research. The day also gives vital support to people suffering from mental health related issues. Remember, mental health is not something you want to keep under your hat. Australian Rotary Health, supporting healthier minds, bodies and communities through research, awareness and education. Let's ensure every Australian leads a healthier life.
Wouldn't it be better to avoid a crash in the first place? Subaru EyeSight Driver Assist Technology. Subaru, all for the driver.
I hope you're enjoying these featured presentations about programs of Rotary International and our Rotary District in 9685. If you haven't had an opportunity so far, please go and visit the Shelter Box exhibit. Shelter Box is one of the great Rotary projects to help people in disasters. But otherwise, stay around and enjoy the rest of the program.
The soccer clinics are meant to be for juniors. If they're here in the one place, they'll make friends and just create some harmony within the local area.
Very easy, not too hard.
We need to invest in our young people today.
These guys here, James, Silva, Tito and David, they're here today to present you with a little gift for coming out.
They now have to make a new life in a peaceful, positive way.
Rotarians, they came here when her mother and father died.
We picked this family around 2004. We were led by a young sister. So we gave them assistance in terms of health, in terms of food, and other utensils that they wanted as a normal child. When these children fall sick, we normally use their guardians and the neighbors, so they telephone to us and seek for help. Because this is a longer distance, in most cases they can't travel to the hospital. So they call us and explain what happens with them and what their problem is. We normally come, examine them and treat them.
I want to become a nurse to help the orphans. I don't want to see them when they are crying, sick, and they don't have anything to eat.
Despite the fact that their parents died, they wish to have the best life that we all have.
For community, we do it cause we care. We do it cause we're Rotary, and Rotary's everywhere. We work because it's needed, we're on it every day. We want to make the world a better place, so Rotary's here to stay. Rotary is community, Rotary is care. Rotary Clubs Australia, Rotary's everywhere. People motivated, working every day to make our world a better place. That's Rotary today. To make our world a better place. That's Rotary today. For community, we do it cause we care. We do it cause we're Rotary, and Rotary's everywhere. We work because it's needed. We're on it every day. We want to make the world a better place, so Rotary's here to stay. Rotary is community, Rotary is care. Rotary's all around the world, Rotary's everywhere. People motivated, working every day to make our world a better place. That's Rotary today. To make our world a better place. That's Rotary today.
The Foreign Coin Repatriation Project of the Rotary Club of Hornsby is entering its third decade and is becoming larger than life. We need your help to keep it going for decades more. Currently, we collect foreign coins from Bendigo Banks, American Express, Travel Money Oz, selected Westpac and Commonwealth Bank branches, as well as Harvey World Travel. We use numbered, locked Perspex boxes for collection. Each box is collected by one of our collection officials and replaced with an empty box. From there, each box is brought to one of several coordination areas where the coins are weighed, recorded, and allocated to sorters. Each box is tracked via its unique number so we know where each box is, how long it has been there, and the likely time it will need to be collected. As each box's contents are weighed and recorded, we have an idea of how much to expect on a regular basis, and therefore how many sorting personnel might be called upon. We also can identify what geographical areas might need more collection points, so we can maximize the service to our community. Each sorter has a method that works for them. There is no right way to do it, except to do it accurately. Some people sort into different colors before sorting into countries. Some sort into collections they recognize, then one pile for the rest, and revisit that group later for refinement. Our members, our friends, and our friends' friends help us to repatriate the coins to their originating countries. Some coins are even donated directly to areas in need, like an orphanage in Vietnam, a mental health clinic in Indonesia, or the Rotary Club of Port Klang, Malaysia, as we do. The coins we cannot return to the countries of origin are collected by a company in Brisbane called Coin Co., which, incidentally, was started by another Rotarian. All foreign monies collected go toward international projects, and Australian monies can go toward domestic charities. We hope that we have told you just enough to encourage you to ask questions and perhaps become involved. We currently have Rotary clubs in Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, Brisbane, and locations around the Northern Territory. The Rotary Club of Hornsby is currently opening this established project to other Rotary clubs. Our philosophy is that we can do more good as a large group than as individual clubs. You can benefit your charities, as we do, easily and quickly. Get involved now. Just ask us how.
Yes, Graham, we're talking about the Hearing Project. The reason for doing it is because hearing is just so important to us as human beings. Jane Goodall in the Lisbon Convention talked about how human contact through hearing is so critical.
But what is it that makes it so important?
Well, it's our human communication. It's the way we interact with each other. It's the language that we have that makes us human.
My youngest daughter, Kate, who's actually here with us today, has had a significant hearing impairment which we've had to deal with as a family with her growing up, and I guess she could tell you her story herself.
I have an experience with hearing loss that started when I was 11. My hearing loss was picked up in a routine primary school hearing test, and it was a big shock because we thought my hearing was fine. It turned out I had a mild to moderate loss, and the doctors told my mum that they thought it would be a loss that would be progressive and I might become profoundly deaf by the time I was 40. But in actual fact, I was profoundly deaf by the age of 18. So I stopped using the phone at 12. I was struggling to hear in groups by 12 or 13. I got hearing aids at the age of 11, and my mum had to deal with a teenager who just didn't want to wear them. It got to the point where when I was at university, I was wearing my hearing aids full time but hiding them, and I got to the point where I felt like there was really no future for me because I didn't have any role models to look up to that were successful, any deaf role models. I only saw the people on the disability pension. So I got to the point where I said to Mum, I don't think I can really go on much longer like this. I'm struggling and I don't think there's any future for me. And so she took me aside and said, look, don't worry, we can do this together. We looked into different things like a cochlear implant, which wasn't at the time the right.
Shh! Close the doors. Close the doors. By the way, I'm told that Kate McKenzie from the Rotary Club of Randwick is out there tweetering madly what's going on with the conference, and apparently we're watching it live streamed right in the foyer as we speak, so behave yourself because you're live on television. Okay. Is everybody in? We can't start till the doors are closed, but just before we start, District Governor Graham was just mentioning that there are no delegate votes in yet. Shame on you. Shame. Shame, shame, shame. Okay, so we need to close the doors. Is that one up there? Would you be kind enough to close that for me if you'd be so kind? Thank you. Or tell them to close it for me. That'd be lovely. Make sure everybody's in and tucked in nice and quiet. Look at them straggling in. Look at them, the little pets. Don't you love them? Well, some of them are loved. Okay. The reason I want you all in and settled down is that next session is very, very interesting and quite close to my heart. But I just need to wait for the doors to close, otherwise it ain't going to work. By the way, did you know that Bertrand Russell said, I love this, and it applies to me and to you maybe, one of the symptoms of an approaching nervous breakdown is the belief that your work is terribly important. Ain't that the truth? Okay, so just wait for that door to close. We're all tucked in, we're all settled in. No, there's a late arrival, look at him. No, snuck in. Oh, he's in row 3, so he's not important. Only the first 2 rows, they're all the VIPs. Good. Yeah, okay. As you heard District Governor Graham mention earlier, this is the 109th anniversary today, the 23rd of February, of the beginning of the very first Rotary meeting. And as a treat for both you and me, we're going to take you back to that time. And as the lights dim slowly, I'm going to take you back to 1905, to a cold Chicago morning. It's afternoon, it's 5 p.m., and it's snowing, and the lights are coming down. Aren't they, Harry? Good. Even further. Dark, Harry. Thank you. Okay. It's snowing in the afternoon. People are scurrying home. The sun has set. It's still a winter's morning. It's February in Chicago. It's about -1 degrees. And I take you back now to level 7 of the Dearborn Building in Chicago. I take you back now to the office of Paul Harris, where 3 of his friends are gathered, waiting for a 4th to arrive.
Cake? It looks delicious.
Oh, thank you. My wife, Rachel, made it especially for today's meeting. She is an exceptional cook.
That's a lucky man. What sort of cake is it?
Well, it's a traditional apple cake, actually.
Oh. Well, it looks and smells delicious. We really should wait for Sylvester.
No, he's late. Half an hour late. You said 5 o'clock.
Well, have a look at that snow. No wonder he's late.
Look, Gus is right. It was 5 o'clock. I have the invite right here in my pocket. Look, it says here, room 711, Unity Building, Dearborn Street, Chicago, Thursday, February 23rd at 5 p.m.
You measuring something?
Oh, no. I always have it in my pocket.
I need a new suit.
Oh, really? You should drop by, sometime next week. Things are a little quiet. This weather.
Oh, God, it's shocking. When will it end? Can I get you a drink?
Did I hear the word drink? My insides need warming up. My outsides are frozen through.
Good morning, and you're late.
Oh, I know. I had to walk the whole way. There's nothing moving over there. 8 blocks. But before we go any further, I need to see the men's room urgently. There's not one public toilet in this city.
Well, we really are quite keen to start eating Hiram's cake.
Well, it's not actually mine.
Well, it does look and smell delicious, though. Hey, bourbon?
Yeah. Oh, that's because Rachel made it.
A scotch for me, but no ice. There's enough of that outside.
Like I said, it's a traditional apple cake, and she's a terrific cook. I'll have a bourbon.
Speaking of the ice, I've heard in engineering circles that General Electric are bringing out a new household refrigeration unit that's powered entirely, thank you, on gas.
Ingenious.
Yeah.
For households?
It's a few years off yet, but it'll put all those ice vendors out of business.
Oh, sorry. And yes to a bourbon. A tall one, thanks.
We really should get down to business.
Oh, yes, but do you mind if I stay by the fire for a bit?
Yeah, you you thaw out over there, Sylvester, and we'll get started, okay?
Please, continue, Paul. Your idea.
Thank you. If I may, I'm going to give you a little background that you may not be aware of. I've spent many years traveling the world and the United States, working as a teacher, as a newspaper reporter, as a banker, and this has given me a pretty unique insight into my fellow man. It's really broadened my vision. In 1896, I settled here in Chicago, as you know, to start practicing law.
Oh, and we three, I believe, are your clients.
That's right, Gus. So on to my idea.
Sorry to interrupt, but this fire could really use some more coal.
Well, you're the coal man. You should have bought a bucket.
Well, I'll send you a ton over tomorrow. You'll need it with this weather settling in.
I'd be much obliged, Sylvester, but if we can get back to the reason why we're here.
Yeah, look, continue, Paul. Your idea.
Thank you. So, it has taken me quite a few years to formulate this idea. It first came to me back in 1900. I was having dinner with a Chicago lawyer friend of mine, and after we'd eaten, we went for a walk throughout the neighborhood.
Was that Bob?
Yeah, Bob Frank, that's right.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with how he had made friends with all of the shopkeepers along the way. Now, I had been in Chicago since 4 years prior, and all of my clients were still merely business friends. Like you, Sylvester, Hiram, Gus.
Look, Paul, I, for one, would be honored to be your friend.
I concur.
Ditto.
Well, there's more to it than this, though. I am resolved to join or form a club.
What sort of club?
Well, there must be many young men in Chicago who've moved from farms and small villages to establish themselves in Chicago. Why not bring them together? Why not form a fellowship of businessmen of various occupations without any restrictions on politics or religion?
I like this.
A club in fellowship and friendship?
Yeah, we develop acquaintances for the opportunity to serve.
Serve?
Yeah, well, as a group, we have the opportunity to serve the community.
Needy causes.
But there are many.
Yes. Big projects, but small ones too.
As our friend Sylvester here has found out most painfully, there are no public toilets in Chicago.
Cheers to that idea.
So what would our commitment be?
I don't know, maybe once a week?
Yeah.
Well, we should nut out some guidelines.
Oh, yes, that should be first on the agenda for next time.
Yeah, should we say this time here next week?
No, my place next time, then you all can walk the 8 blocks.
Okay. And then mine after that. My wife, she'll make another cake.
Oh, lovely.
This cake does look delicious. When are we eating it?
You can write me in for the following week.
My friends, I am touched.
What should we call ourselves? We need a name.
FIB.
What?
What?
Friends in Business.
Not really appropriate. Fib?
It was a joke.
How about Stars and Stripes?
That's a little parochial. This could go worldwide.
Let's just start with Chicago first.
Let's just start with this cake. I'm starving!
Let them eat cake. Who said that?
Marie Antoinette.
And that started the French Revolution.
That's it.
What, a revolution?
Yeah. No. Revolution. revolving, going round. Hey, we go round from one meeting place to the other each week. Rotating. Rotation. Rotary. We're going to call ourselves Rotary. Cake?
Yes, please.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen, the very first meeting of Rotary International, Chicago 1905. Please thank my fellow colleagues from Willoughby Theatre Company, Mr. Peter Meredith, Mr. Jeremy Curtin, Mr. Luke Davis, and Mr. Mike Curtin. And I'm grateful to my friend Carla Moore, who wrote that play especially for our conference today. Thank you, gentlemen, and thank you. Did you find out a whole lot of stuff you didn't know? Yeah, there you go. So it was a great insight into where it all began. Pardon me. So we go on with our program. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our next guest speaker, who happens to be Philip Archer. And we're now in the section of our program called The New Rotary. And as I said before, long introductions are a waste of your time and mine. It's the person and the message that's important. But Philip is the Regional Public Image Coordinator, Part Zone 8, Rotary International. He's a charter member of the Rotary Club of South Bank, but he's been in touch with rapid changes in business throughout all his working life. Philip has on numerous occasions been invited to speak on industry forums, organisations and associations on various human resources and business issues. And so I welcome him to the stage this morning still, to present his fascinating and incisive insight into his Rotary that he knows. Philip Archer.
Good morning. Graham and Lynn Davies, Patricia Boyle and Simon, thank you for having me along this morning. And happy birthday, Rotary. I'm here to talk for a few minutes on the new Rotary. I wish they'd left the drinks cart here because nothing else has changed. No, seriously, I think everything old is new again. And Rotary's in a really good space. But before I get into it, what a wonderful start to this morning. What's Graham got in common with Kylie Minogue? We all know now, don't we? Rotomotion. Graham, you're going to be stirred by your college, by your friends at the zone level forever now. So, Rotary for me, there's nothing else like it. It's where people like you and me can come and have a conversation, and those conversations turn to actions. It's where, for years, we've been able, as individuals, to make things happen through a new network of friends in our community. I've been in Rotary not as long as some, for about 14, 15 years now. And just like you, I've made friends in Rotary like I haven't before. I've been able to put back into society, into my community, and it's amazing how far and wide that community has taken me. I've also been able to learn every little while something new in taking on different roles within Rotary. So for all of us, when we have so much enjoyment in Rotary, why is our membership lagging? That's the big question. And for me, I don't think we're doing too bad a job. I think, though, as Graham put it, we have to learn how to close that back door. Our current situation, I believe, is very healthy. I think we have a lot of heavy lifting to do as a world organization involved in community activity. And I think we're going to need more and more members to do the work ahead and to share the enjoyment and the spirit of Rotary. So for me, it's about us really coming up with that essence of Rotary that will make the difference to getting new members in. For me, it's about us looking at our clubs and saying, what's the best image of our Rotary Club going forward? In 3 years, what would the picture in the newspaper look like of my Rotary Club? And for me, it's not what the image might be yesterday, but it might be something that looks like the best photograph that you have in your family album. For me, that photograph will have the great-grandparents, the grandparents, people like me, dads, wives, partners, children, grandchildren, babies. And if you can look at your best photograph in your Rotary Club and say you have that diversity, that's when I think in Rotary we will win. We have a real challenge on our hands. If every one of us who turns 70 retired from Rotary in the next 10 years, we have a major, major challenge. So it's up to us, younger people, to make sure those 70-plussers now regard themselves to be 60. They are the new 60. And for people like me who are nearing 60, you've got to make sure you tell me that I'm the new 40. And for those of you who are 40, well, you're our new 30. And for those of you who are 30, well, welcome to being 30. See, folks, what we've got to learn to do is to converse with each other and listen to each other and respect our traditions and the work that's ahead of us. To make those who've been around Rotary for a while feel and want to be mentors and the change agents that we need them to be. I joined Rotary when I thought I was a relatively young man and I was given plenty of opportunities. And I've seen people come on board. A number of my club members are in their late 20s and early 30s. And we in my club know how to say yes to them and encourage them. But those new members also know how to respect some of the older traditions and the older members of Rotary. And we encourage that dialogue. What I'd like us to do is to think about how we invite everyone to join the conversation at Rotary. And by join the conversation at Rotary, I mean that people like me and the leadership of clubs and Rotary actually learn how to listen and nod and encourage and give wise counsel. And for those who are younger, understand that when the wise counsel is coming, sometimes it's hard to take no. And when I first got into a leadership role in business, I used to look for a promotion every 9 months and look to do something new every 9 months. And the other day I was talking to my 36-year-old daughter who was lamenting that she hadn't had a promotion in the last 10 months. And I said to her, daughter, just hold on, but it's the way you talk to them. It's the way a family would converse. I think that's important. So, in the coming years, if we are to do the right thing, the one thing by our beloved Rotary, it is to encourage new people to join, and it doesn't matter what age group they are. It's to take this new brochure, and you've got some of these in your clubs last November. Graham and the team will be getting some more in the coming weeks. If every one of us took 3 and handed them to the right person who should be part of Rotary, who shares the same values and networks and community spirit that we have, does it matter how old they are? But it's the way we engage with them. And the speaker coming after me will talk more about that, I'm sure. So let's engage Rotary to change lives, but engage Rotary so that we encourage others and current members. We listen to new members and our current membership, But above all, we ask a lot of new people to join in with what we're doing. We have a couple of huge opportunities. One, the gender balance isn't quite right in Rotary. If we had an equal gender balance in Australia, we'd have 55,000 members. So there's an easy start. Worldwide, we'd have 2 million members. We have our international convention coming up. We're in the middle of Sydney, and we should be spruiking it. We'll have so many people, 20,000 Rotarians, proudly wearing the Rotary badge. Let's make sure we tell our friends about that, and we do every bit to publicise the great work of our foundation and the eradication of polio and how close we are. Let's get people to come and join us and sit them next to someone that is passionate about something. Let's not take our ego in the door. The new ad, one of the ads that we have out there says we leave our egos at the door. I had a lady call me up and said, I don't like that. Why talk about egos? And I explained to her that most Rotarians I know have a healthy ego. And when we go into a conversation, we listen. So let's leave the ego at the door and really welcome those new people in and share them with someone that is passionate about something that your club is doing. Let's promote Rotary locally. Let's get closer to the media. Let's back up what we've done for the first time ever in Australia, and that is to have one national PR campaign that is linked to our membership development plan across the zone. That PR campaign is now running out to some 400 radio stations and telling people that we're asking them to come and join the conversation. So when they come knocking on our door, let's make sure that we listen to them and encourage them to join. When our ambassadors talk to people and say, you should join Rotary, come and join the conversation, let's, as the rank and file members of Rotary, back that up. Because it's not just the high-profile Australians that are in Rotary who should be our ambassadors. It should be every single one of us. Thank you for listening.
Thank you indeed, Philip Archer. It's still part of our Rotary in motion, as it were. I'd like to introduce our next guest speaker. I'm very proud to say that our next guest speaker, Michael McQueen, is a member of the Rotary Club of Crow's Nest, my club. And all right, you can shout and yell, you can shout and yell. The whole two of you can shout and yell, yeah, okay. But more importantly, I think we're blessed to have Michael because when I read this, you'll understand why. Michael McQueen is a Sydney-based speaker, social researcher and business owner. Coming from a background in marketing and research, Michael has his finger on the pulse when it comes to emerging trends shaping society and culture. He has written 3 best-selling books and features regularly as a commentator on both TV and radio. Having presented to over 150,000 people across 5 continents since 2004. Michael is a familiar face on the international conference circuit and has shared the stage with the likes of Bill Gates, Whoopi Goldberg, and Larry King. This guy's amazing. Please welcome to the stage my fellow Rotarian, Michael McQueen.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Tom, and good morning. We've actually got a lot to talk about in a very short space of time together this morning. In fact, I want to make sure we stick to time, and I think we're actually running a bit late, which is so often the case at Rotary conferences. But before we get underway, can I just see we'll do a bit of a poll. Can I see a show of hands? How many of you have ever sat through a boring or irrelevant presentation before? Hands up, who has experienced this phenomenon? Right, almost unanimous. Okay, here's the key question. How many of you have ever delivered a boring or irrelevant presentation yourself? Hands up. Of course, slightly fewer hands. It's nice to start with honesty. Well, my commitment to you is the short time we've got together today will be anything but either of those two things. Boring nor irrelevant. In fact, I want to ensure that the time we've got together today is going to be intensely practical.